So what is going on, guys? NanoPrince93 here with another video, and today's a cool one. But I do want to preface this by saying that what I'm about to show you is not my content at all. Like, I didn't create it. I purely just came across it on this guy's YouTube channel. His name is VinceDesign, and what he does iOS mockups. So like future iOS iterations of, like, I think he started all the way back to iOS 10. So right now we're in iPadOS 13 and iOS 13. So what he's doing is creating renders and concepts of what the next generation of iOS is going to look like. And he also kind of includes some features and things that are missing to kind of amplify both the iOS and iPadOS features for this upcoming year, which I think the beta should release in June of this year. But again, this is not mine. I'm not taking any credit for this. I'm going to link his YouTube channel in the video or in the description below. And if you guys can, bombard him with comments, because I've been trying to get in contact with him. I've shot him a couple emails. I don't know where he's located. He might not be in the United States, so might be a little bit difficult to get in touch with him, because I would love to collab with him, because what I'm about to show you guys is amazing. And I think if this is the future of iPadOS, I think we're in good hands, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video, and I'm going to pause it throughout and kind of speak over it to kind of tell you guys like what he's trying to portray, why he's making certain decisions, and what things are really going to amplify and take iPadOS to the next level. So we're going to hop right into it and kind of go from there, guys. So I'm going to press play, and here we go. So again, this guy's name is VinceDesign, and you guys can see that he's got iPadOS, and it's iPadOS 14, right? So he's adding iPadOS was already a revolutionary way of interacting with your iPad. And I wanted to pause it on this screen, because what you guys can see is an even more simplified home screen, right? So you saw that section on the left minus the widgets to kind of give you the time and the date, which I think is nice. So you don't need to have your widgets up there to have the time on the left-hand side. And also you can tell the applications have flattened even more, and they've gotten even simpler. So you guys can see that most of the application icons have 2-3 colors. Like the Mail app is 2 colors. The Settings app looks like it's only 2 colors also, right? So again, it's a more simplified, pastel-y looking interface, which I kind of like. And then you can see that on the bottom, the dock is a little more customizable. So it's more of, hey, these are your most recent apps on the left-hand side, and on the right is more of a control center type, function keys. Or like you can see that there's the record button, brightness, and then what's currently playing through his Apple Music or Spotify, whatever the case may be. So I kind of like, because it's like a utilitarian look at what the dock should be. Because right now, on the right-hand side of the dock, you get the most recently visited apps, I think the top 3, and then to the right are like the docked apps that you can decide to put down there whenever you want to have access on any homepage, right? So I like this view better because it gives it, like I said, a more utilitarian view, and it, basically like status updates, so I don't have to swipe from the top right and go to the control center. So I'm going to keep going with this video and see what else is happening. So you can see the dock has been redesigned. All the icons have been changed up a little bit. Again, you can see that there's like parts of the control center have made it onto the home screen dock, which I like. And everything is even more simplified than it was before. Hopefully, we'll be able to kind of design the home screen how we want and place icons where we want on the grid, as opposed to like one by one by one. And if you don't, like, you can't like decide where it goes. Check out the animal. Check out the animals kind of fighting over there, guys. But this is what I think the future of iPadOS and iOS 14 and what it's going to look like moving forward. I think it's going to become simplified. It's going to become even more user-friendly. And again, it's with the aim to replace a laptop, especially when you go to an iPad. So I'm going to pause it right here. So his main thing is into multitasking, right? So multitasking took a huge step forward with the slide overview and having having multiple instances of the same application, and on top of that, having, like I said, that third multitasking window that kind of works like an iPhone and an iPhone 10, right? So what he has here is another form of multitasking. And let me know what you guys think. So I'm going to keep going forward, because there's a portion of the video that I want you guys to see that will really work well with this kind of look in this layout. Because right now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of how this is laid out, right? This looks like to be maybe like a second home screen. Maybe you swipe to the right and you get all these different widgets with more more options. So you guys can see like the settings menu is there, weather, and it keeps going. But what I think the perfect scenario is, so keep the iPad when you're multitasking on the iPad, keep it like it normally is. But when you attach now, like he says, now you can connect a bigger screen, and it works like kind of like Samsung DeX, or even it kind of looks like Chrome OS, right? So my vision is when you do connect to an external monitor, this view comes up, and then the widgets that I just showed you on the iPad before can now be used on the desktop screen, the desktop monitor. So if I move this over, you guys can see that the calculator app popped up and you can move it now. So this is where I think that vision of multitasking will work very, very well. And you guys can see now with macOS, macOS is becoming more and more of a mobile operating system, slowly but surely. Like obviously it's still not there yet, and it's still a desktop computer, like a desktop laptop class. But you've noticed that a lot of the Apple apps are now platform compatible, so cross-platform compatible, meaning it'll look the same on your iPhone as it does on your iPad, as it does on your laptop, as it does on your desktop. And I think that's the future we're moving towards, where like everything kind of looks the same, and there's like a seamless transition between iPad, desktop, and also using, like I said, a second monitor and using your iPad as your main operating system. So you guys can see that he moves the calculator and it looks the same on the iPad, right? So that's what I want the vision to be, being able to just have multiple windows that you can move around and using a monitor as a second screen like it's supposed to be, as opposed to a mirror display that gets letterbox and you can't take advantage of a monitor. Like there are very small use cases where the current version of having an external monitor for the iPad is going to be any more productive than just having the iPad by itself. Like I said, you can use LumaFusion and have the second monitor display what you're recording or what you're actively rendering and actively editing. But other than that, there aren't many use cases, guys. Maybe like with GarageBand or some music apps, but you can't just do the traditional way where we're like, hey, let me slide over this application to the left because I'm using it not as much as what I'm doing right now on the iPad. And again, to this point, productivity is not enhanced by having a second monitor, in my opinion, and that is the next stepping stone when it comes to iPadOS. And like I said, I would love to work with him and at least get in touch with him, kind of pick his brain a little bit, because I have the same vision for iPadOS 14 and what its capabilities are going to be moving forward, because I want this to be my one and only device. I don't want to have a second laptop, even when it does come to work. Like I want to be able to use my extensions with Chrome. I want to be able to use my second monitor as an actual second monitor and secondary display, as opposed to just the mirrored finish or the mirrored display with letterboxing and limitations that I don't see the point of it. Like I don't know why Apple just doesn't do it. Obviously they like to perfect what they do, and I guess they want to make sure that it's ready to go when it comes to the masses. But like I said, iPadOS 14 hopefully is a game changer and just continues this evolution of all these devices that are different sizes kind of meshing together into one operating system and one cohesive productivity and efficiency tool, as opposed to jumping through a million different hoops to get the same job done 18 different ways. Right? So that's pretty much going to do for this video. Again, this is not mine. I did not create this. This is by VinceDesign on YouTube. I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to begin to start doing something like that. So big shout out to him. Hopefully I can get in touch with him and I'll let you guys know. But that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you made it to the end, comment below, guys. I really do appreciate it. And stay tuned for the follow-up video, part 2 of the 6 months later with iPad only. Because you guys had a lot of questions, and instead of kind of answering all of them over the comments, I'm just going to create a video and answer them for you guys. So if you guys have any questions related to iPadOS 14 or my 6 month later review for the iPad Pro, comment them below and I'll be sure to make a video to kind of answer everybody's questions. So I appreciate the time. Until next time, peace, guys.